record. Wonderful. Go ahead, Nanette.
So hi, my name is Nanette. I'm CEO and co-founder of Juno Technologies. And at Juno, we are tackling a problem that affects 80% of women, which is menstrual pain, a pain so intense that for many, it results into fainting and vomiting every month. Yet the solutions on the market are quite limited. We have two main solutions on the market. So you have medication, but that has side effect. And in 25% of cases, medication does not bring any relief. The alternative is a heating bag, a magic bag. It's not a portable solution and it has limited effectiveness. So for an active woman who wants to stop or reduce her use of medication, there is nothing. And that's where Juno comes in. What we've created is a medical device that alleviates menstrual pain instantly with no side effect. And it's discreet and portable. We're a medical device class 2, and we reduce the pain on average by almost 80% based on a first pilot study. So the device is made to be used anywhere. So that's one of the big plus is that you can bring it at home, at work, you can bring it at school. So it's very practical. And in order to do so, we integrated the power of heat with electrical stimulation to have higher treatment. And it is also a connected device that really fits into your lifestyle. So we completed the first pilot study last fall on 30 patients with a gynecologist. And what we saw is that on average, we had a 79% reduction, which means that a patient that started at 7.13 out of 10 after 1 hour of only using our device reaches 1.5. And that was the average. So now our next step is that we are doing a major clinical trial with the biggest hospital in Quebec, CHUM. It will include patients who have medical conditions such as endometriosis, and it will allow us to test it on multiple cycles, and it will help us further assess the device effectiveness. It will result in a medical publication, and it will also help improve our marketing claims. However, it's not mandatory for FDA or Health Canada clearance. So with our product, we target women who have severe menstrual pain, including those with medical condition. We can segment that into 3. So we have women who have not medical condition, but menstrual pain. So it's called primary dysmenorrhea. So this is the first one here. And then you have women who suffer from a medical condition that we call endometriosis, which affect 15% of women anywhere in the world and create extreme pain. That's the main symptom. And the third one is all the other medical conditions that will create menstrual pain, pelvic pain. There are multiple, but what all of those women have in common is extremely severe pain. They spend a lot of money, a lot of time for pain management, and they miss school and work every month. So the business model is based on selling one device that lasts years. However, we also have recurring revenue based on the sale of gels that allows you to stick the device to your skin. So I mentioned that the product is connected. Our app is called Juno Plus. It's a companion app that allows you to remotely control the device. It's very useful to change the settings in public, but also allows you to cycle track, symptom reporting, doctor visit, and basically it works as a journal between you and your treatment, and you can share it with your doctor if necessary. And eventually, Juno Plus will grow into a paid app offering advanced device control, symptom tracking, and a supportive community. We are in a $14.4 billion market that is mainly dominated by medication. And our goal is to capture 5% of that market on the long term. So now when it comes to device for menstrual pain, only a few are a medical device. And what makes a medical device is that it's a treatment that needs to be proven as safe and effective to be used. In that space, we have a few competitors, but we are unique and better. Already, we combine multiple treatment, which has shown greater results in terms of pain relief. Also, the product is wireless and it is app controlled, so you have a better user experiences more practical on the go, especially. And we are the only one pushing for transparent clinical evidence. We also filed for 2 patents and 1 industrial design, and we have more coming up regarding data on endometriosis, but also predictive AI for our app. Now, our goal is really to position Juno as the first medical device supported by clinical data. This has never been done in the past. And in order to do so, we are conducting transparent clinical data to support effectiveness. We are getting the product tested and recommended by gynecologists, working towards clearance from FDA and Health Canada. And we also, as I mentioned, have several patent applications. So the product will be available in B2B because we already have established partnership and contract with different hospitals, clinics, organizations for women with medical condition, sports team, and international sales. Something we will love to add but have not received yet is contract with pharmacies. However, the product also needs to stay very accessible because it's a mass distribution product, and we also already have a waiting list. Patients want to have access to the product as easily as possible, so it will be available in B2C online, so basically selling online. We are also working with reimbursement by private insurance to bring the cost of the device from $200 to $40 for the end user. So now if you look at sales projection, as I mentioned, we have an app, but the first year, the focus is not on growing the app and making it a paid app, but eventually after a couple of years, you see that the app start bringing revenue. Also, we have the product in itself that I mentioned lasts a few years. So there are sale of the product and the sale of the gels that are recurrent every month. So Juno was founded by my co-founder and I. We are both, we have masters in engineering, and now we have a team comprised of many expertise, gynecologists, engineers, developers, advisor, and IP strategists, and a marketing team. In 2 years, we have been registered for 2 years. We receive almost $800,000 just in non-dilutive funds. And we have many key partners in the ecosystem, including the NRC, CDL, Johnson & Johnson, and many more. And we have won a couple of awards and prizes because I think people really believe in the solution and want the solution. So just this summer, we won Effervescence in MedTech Plus, Startup Fest, and many more. So where are we right now? We completed an MVP. We had our patent submission, pilot study. We are completing our first pre-seed round. Also, we are in the phase of preparing mass production. So we are pre-production. We are also preparing the trials with the shrimp, as I mentioned, working towards FDA clearance, hopefully Q2 2025. And all of that brings us to our first sale that would be starting Q2 2025. So as I mentioned, we are closing a 500K safe round. And that allows us to finish I would say, the clinical data in Canada, the DFM manufacturing, the cost of DFM manufacturing, regulatory clearance, and brings us also to our first sale. So our impact is very clear. We are solving the problem gynecologists see the most. And this first product is just the start of our mission to improve women's health using highly innovative solutions. Thank you.
Wonderful. Great pitch, Nanette. Still under time, so you're just under 9 minutes, so you've got a little bit of wiggle room. So that's great if we get feedback.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, it's better to be able to space or add additional versus reduce can be a little overwhelming. So we're in a good spot there. If we're ready to dive into some pitch feedback, David, you were off mute right away. I love it. Let's hear from you.
Sure. Well, thank you so much. That was a great presentation. Very clear. I even like the shot. I used to live in Montreal of the, oh my gosh, the Place de Marie in the background. I think you had a shot of that. So that was fun. Yes, that was a great presentation. I have a couple of questions around the approvals. So what type of approvals do you need to have this ready to be accessed by consumers?
Yes. So do you mean by when it regulatory?
Yes, regulatory.
So our path is a 510K with predicates. So as I mentioned when I presented the clinical trial, it's not mandatory that we get the result for the trials to get approval. So we are following the path of a 510K with predicates.
Okay, and have you estimated how much that costs? Because I think you're planning to have it done in next year, is that correct?
Yes, exactly. So basically, so basically, what we have a full-time employee that's a QMS manager. Maybe I didn't mention that. So she's working full-time. She's been working on it for a year. So, and we also have an EQMS, so the online platform Greenlight Guru that we are completing, and we also have consultants that are working every month with us. It's been a year, so it's a process that we already started a while ago. And based on that and the prediction we have, the strategy we have, we should be able to file for FDA in 2025, like Q2 2025. And it takes a couple of months to get the answer, 3 months approximately.
And that's assuming you've finished some of your trials and
Yeah,
other.
exactly. The trials are not mandatory. That's why I said, so the trials is something we're doing parallel. So that's why it's great in this instance is that even if these trials, we know how long it takes, even if it takes longer, it won't affect the FDA submission. However, it's just that the trial, I mentioned why we're doing it. It has great advantages. It really pushed us as a medical device, but we do not need those to file for FDA.
Okay, that's good. And maybe explain a little bit how your app revenue is how is that integrated with the actual device?
Yes. So how is the app integrated with the device?
Correct.
Yeah. So on the product in itself, the hardware product, we have a firmware component basically that's connected to our app. So what it allows you to do, the first features we already have is that with your phone, you can change the settings. So let's say you're in public, you're using your device, and all of a sudden you want to turn it off, you want to change the settings. You can just use your phone. You don't need to change, especially since it's a device that you put under your clothes and it's very discreet. Most times when we have it on our clothes, no one notices. So that's the first thing we're offering with the app. As I mentioned, the app will grow with time. So eventually what we will be able to give with the app is to give a report at the end of the month saying, here's what you used, here how it was efficient, but also offering so much more than what our device is offering. So it also allows you to track your medication use for now. It allows you to follow your cycle. So there's a lot more that is offered by the app that has nothing to do with the device, but that has everything to do with your cycle.
So I'm just thinking on another company that I'm doing work with, like the app is being used as a revenue generator, can be used as a standalone.
Yes.
Which is from feedback standpoint, it's one way to get more users quicker, and then you sell more units of physical units because you have more people unit. Yeah.
Yes, I agree, totally agree. And the fact that the app will bring revenue is something that we have considered in our prediction. So when I showed the graph with the prediction for the app, you see that at some point it kind of grows. I think it's year 3, because initially we don't think the app will bring much revenue because it doesn't allow for much to be done.
No, it's more the app. The app in my mind is more to get reach. Reach that's very hard to get, especially if you're going after consumers. The B2B space, I think your insurance play or strategy is a good one, but it's very difficult to get into insurance ecosystems. They're always trying to resist any money going out. They're trying, especially in Canada, not as much in the States. Any money going out, so that'll be a challenge to get into the insurance ecosystem.
Yes, I agree. In Canada,
so one of the feedbacks that I would give is, if you can partner with someone who's already in the insurance business, who already has the contracts with the insurance companies, you could potentially partner with them and slipstream your product into their ecosystem as a faster way. You might have to give up some revenue, but it's a faster way to get reach. And on the production side, you mentioned production. When you mention production, how much of the money is going to be used for producing units?
Yeah, so the cost of good will be between 40 and 50. So the first batch will be a smaller batch, so it would be closer to 50, but eventually we want to bring it to 40 cost of good.
So 40 units at a time, or $40?
$40, sorry, $40 one unit.
And how many units, what's your minimum unit production batch cost? How many units do you have to?
So our first batch will be 3,000.
So 3,000 at $40 per unit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the only thing I would caution you, and I've seen this happen before, is using your hard-earned investment and using too much of it to produce too many units just because there might be a discount. You're better to pay more and get a smaller batch, let's say 500 units, until you're very sure of your monthly or quarterly turn rate. Because the last thing you want is for your money to be tied up in units sitting on the shelf.
Yes, yes. I just had a question because I'm not sure I understood what kind of partner, when you said partner that could have contract with insurance, do you have something in mind?
No, there's just organizations out there that do most of their business. I'm working with one now. They do all their business through insurance companies. And what they're promising the insurance company is that if you provide this to all your businesses, who then provide it to all their employees, those people will be back to work sooner. So let's say people are taking, women are taking 4 days off on average a month for menstrual pain, or 5 days off. If this unit can reduce that, then they'll look at that, and the partner would be happy to have another product or service to put into their schemes, so the insurance companies can have a better way to reduce off time. And secondly, if you data pool all your data, and then you can get normative standards, that would be great for insurance companies to use from a data standpoint.
That's something we're actually doing right now. We're working with a firm that's doing a whole economic analysis, and for also health professionals to see what is the benefit of using the product.
Okay, that's all I'll say, but thank you. Great presentation.
Great. And that I would agree, David, great feedback. First off, great pitch. I mean, ultimately, I, as an investor with my investor hat on, am interested. So that's a win. I would say the product, impressive team, it's a real market. Couple of the questions that I had along the way that distracted me a bit, which you could maybe tie in. When you showed the pain, or sort of the reduction, I was thinking, okay, did you have a control group? Because often, it's there is a natural human ability to cure pain. And are you just capturing that, or are you relative to a baseline better than the baseline? So that was a question when you showed that burn down chart of pain. You addressed traction late. You said we will get to our first sale, and it was sort of in the use of proceeds slide. But I was curious, like, okay, you were talking about grants, awards, and then projections. One of the primary things I always look for is, okay, so how far have you got with the real market? What's the proof? And I think in this case, the proof is that there are many other products that are doing this. The market's very real. So the question that struck for me was, what is unique? Or one way to ask it, what did everyone else get wrong? And you touched on that well, I think, with the competitive differentiation chart. But as an investor and someone who's looking for, like, to use the buzzword LSTCDA, like long-term sustainable, competitive, differentiated, like how is that unique here? So it's good that there's a market that, 10 to 15% of women in their lifetime will have endometriosis, and there's other categories, and all of this is real. But how does Juno stand out long term?
Mhm.
And I didn't see a trademark or a copyright next to the
Yes,
name.
actually we do, but it's a good point. I'll add it. Trademark.
Yeah. To me, that could be one of those surviving values of a company that's worthy of investment, right? If you have a trademark and a name like Juno is good. I mean, it's got the film association, it's simple, it speaks well. So yeah, if you have the rights to that name, that's great. And then the only other part that I'd say was missing from the pitch was the ask. And you said we're finishing a 500K raise. But this, David, I think you called it a presentation, and I'd agree, like it's a presentation about your business. But I wouldn't quite call it a pitch unless there's something that you're asking of your audience. So that's a little nuance, but some feedback.
Yeah, good point for the trademark, because we kind of like, I've never included it in the pitch, but I should. Why not?
Well, it's a strength. Like if you have,
Mm.
you know, it very impressive group of supporters in the form of grants and awards, right? That's a strong highlight. And you know, like as someone looking at the company to become an investor partner, knowing that you have rights to the name is pretty critical.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, as far as the pitch, I wouldn't suggest changing much. I mean, the flow is nice, you're natural in presentation, and like I say, it sort of tweaked my interest directly, which yeah, nicely done.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nanette.